Everyone, I just want to welcome you uh, as a part of the team and future chef and probably Michelin star owner. My name is Matthew. I am an importer, educator, trying to improve the understanding of variety of the olive oil, terminology, labeling, and most important part, how to incorporate it to your recipe because olive is being a nutritional food. It is an exceptional commodity that you can enhance your flavor. Sometimes even before you use salt or something in that caliber. It has all the complexity and intact, but it depends how to use them. So we're going to expose you to a couple of variety. We teach you how to taste them so you understand the positive attribute and negative attribute. And then before we get to the final stage, probably we're going to give you a foundation about the fruit region, cultivation, and a modern version of extraction, and a little bit touch on the history and producer. And then we go down to testing, and you follow my direction. And probably it is nothing complicated because we are all gifted with a very sophisticated sensory. We are coming from a very intelligent source. And basically, it's just trust your sensory, smell, pungency, positive attribute. The way you taste the apple, the way you smell a banana, it should smell like a banana and things. Any other than mixing that things, our sensory would let us know there must be something wrong with that. Well, we start with the history of olive. The ancestor of the olive tree started in the Persian Empire. I didn't say this because I'm Persian. The wild version of that started in that area. According to a study of the fossil and things, they find that the stone and things, the ancestor of the tree. Then it start moving to the, as you can see, to the nearby territory of Egypt, Palestine, Syria. Back in the days, probably they didn't know how utilize this commodity and use it. So it was available on some from Greek to, I would say, Roman to start using it, invented kind of a technology, mass cultivation, and a storage facility that you can see back in the days was a clay that Greek were using to store it. They recognized that this precious commodity can be used on their skin, for example, like a lotion and cream, and then or protect from the crop or the whatever they had at the end of the season to cover them just in case because of the property. But it wasn't consumed. I'm going to go fast on this because we're going to go to, and that's the very old-fashioned or the beginning of understanding how to press them. They use heavy stone and the bar that you can see. This is found in one of the palaces in Greece. So they study that, and it shows that they've been using olive oil for variety. And as you can see here, the ancient Roman, they actually created the kind of a level of premium that we translated to premium, ultra premium, or medium, and things in their own Roman language. And the interesting part is that they keep the first press for themselves, and spoiled fruit and things that was dropping on down for the slave. So that's not important anymore. Just gonna. Now we're going to go to the olive here. We touch upon the history of where the olive started, the ancestor trees, and we get to the time that Greek start cultivating the mass production of the olive, and then it went through by Phoenician, went through the Mediterranean region, from Italy all over to the north part of Europe. They start understanding the benefit of this commodity, and they, create or invented a kind of a technology from press, manual press, to uh, say using the stone and things to crush the fruit, and the byproduct would have been an extra virgin or virgin. You didn't have that time kind of a understanding of the grade. But probably after 1950 or 1960, when we get a better understanding, we start grading or system that we can grade olive oil. Just for your reference, before we get to what is olive extra virgin or virgin or lampante, there are 4,000 different species of olive, four, maybe more. Some of them are, we call it heritage, this variety indigenous to some specific variety in Mediterranean region, whether it's in south of Italy or Spain or Portugal. Some can be mass produced and be cultivated in other regions of the world. You can see it in California, you can see them, some of them in Australia or Chile. So when you imagine you're a farmer and you want to start the business producing olive oil, after you assess your soil and hillside or whatever land you have, you hire a technician to find out what would be the best variety that give you that yield or production that you need to get in return to your investment. So we're going to go with the olive here. Imagine that we have the olive, and we're going to go through the process to extract the oil. In order to get the premium or extra virgin olive oil, which is a premium version, means you have to harvest the fruit as early as possible in the season. Give you an example, and there is some images down there, if I can get the fruit condition, you see. Here, at the start, like banana, when it's come hard and green, across the ocean, to get here on distribution center, when you put it in your kitchen counter, it start developing that yellowish color and then brownish, which we don't use. In the case of olive, it's the same. Maturity time, elevation, temperature, it would affect. But there are experts or farmers that by generation that develop understanding when would be the optimal ripeness of the fruit and get ready to crush. So you have to be, so I want to add another piece to your knowledge is that if you go super green, regardless of the cultivar, technically means you get less oil, low yield. If you move to middle, you get more percentage, ratio to the stone and flash to the oil. It's going to be 15% more when you allow the go to that optimum level of ripeness. Then you go overripe, as you can see, kind of an eggplant shape. The issue with this, if you practice it in this way, technicality is that any fruit, you remove it from the stem, oxidation accelerate at a faster pace. So if you want to make a statement, win a gold medal and things, and have a premium oil, and you start with that and charge the customer or client based on the price of that, and then you go here. But it's a very complicated. I don't want to go personally in every detail of it. It's a matter of choice and the style and where you are. And again, there are practice like they do 60%, 40%, 20%, or 20-20. That is acceptable. But we're going to go back again just to give you an idea. Here, imagine we go harvest our fruit on a tree as early as possible at the optimum ripeness. and we bring it down and we crush it. They still use a stone, a granite, kind of a grinder that they press the oil and crush them after harvest and washing the fruit. And there are new technology like centrifugal pump and 2 different phases of decanting. It's introduced in 1960. So we're gonna go, we'll just go a little bit down here to see. This is the old-fashioned, very late, collecting the fruit at the bottom, you see. It's a historical, and they have to put a ladder, hand-picked. Then this is the kind of a diseases that you get affected us and the olive. As you can see, when I said 20%, 30%, you see a mix of the raw green olive condition, and you get like a purplish and a little bit darker. So after you remove the leaves and twigs and all the debris, it has to go through the process of crushing. Like you grab an orange from the tree, what do? You cut it and you squeeze it to extract the oil. Or we're going backward. So the first step is after washing, this goes, the fruit goes to the mill, as they call it, and they start crushing. You see the harvested, it is the basket, oxygen and air can go through. This is another technique they use. If the tree and vigor is so low, you can access the top branches. You can use the stick and get them down, and you see the combination and mix here. This is something that give you premium. And this is a medium in the, we're gonna get to that one, high density. This is the old-fashioned kind of a milling. After harvest, they used to bring it here. As you can see, it was a granite stone. They mash it, you get the paste, something like a, coarse paste that has oil, fat, lipid, and vegetable oil and water come from through. And then they have to go through the decanting the oil and separate the solid from the water and have the oil at the final stage. They used to use presses like you see that over there, and they used to store it, which is not popular right now. You can, and this is another factory that you see is not sanitary at all. Sorry, but as you can see, that was the technology was available. We were developing understanding how to maximize and how to get. So they had the stone ground over there, and they bring that mashed paste and they put it on. Let me see if you see. This stone granite stone was going down, and they're pouring down and loading, and every load you get the paste, and they put the paste in the mat, and they stack them. As you can see, they're still practicing that, but it's about to be obsolete. Look at the stack of these, and it is a press that was going down. Let me see if we have we don't have an image of that. So the press down, and the byproduct was the oil. Considering, like I told you, we have 4,000 different species, they behave differently, and you are not supposed to mix them together, because Coratina versus Arbequina versus Manzanillo, these are totally different chemical structure. They have to go one by one. This is the oldest story. Why they use it right now, I would explain it later. But I'm going to touch on, we're going back to the fruit again. Oh, right here, this is a better production of olive oil. Just want to go tell you some number about who is the biggest producer in the world. Spain. Let's start with the larger production. 3-4 Dominated variety in Spain, they call it Picual. Arbequina, probably you heard that in California, Manzanillo and Mission. So these are cultivating their majority, and the reason for that is a very low maintenance species, doesn't require too much of the water. It can tolerate heat and frozen season and it still give you production. And you go to Italy, compared to Spain, there are 800 to probably 1,000 different species of olive that are indigenous to different villages. And the microclimate in Italy, because there is a huge fluctuation from the south, north, central, you get variety of the olive that are, we call it heritage, cannot be duplicated. You're going to sample some of them today. And is indigenous, like Champagne, for example, that you do over there. So by far, Italy carry largest variety of olive oil. Then out of the European Union, you have Morocco, North Africa, Tunisia. Then you have Turkey, Greek. These are large production over there. But whatever they have, like Tunisia, is a Chemlali or Shitoi. You can get them online. It's nothing that you can be worried about that. These are different variety, and you have it in Greek, Kerineki, and they give you Kerineki olive oil or Coratina or Arbequina. Now, if I want to go back again, if you're a farmer in Spain and you produce Picual, for example, regardless of where is your location, because there are, I don't know, 15,000 farmers. So you're going to have 50,000 different Picual. Why? Because the most important part to get the right grade, low acidity, it's in general, we would call it time of the harvest. It is very, very important because it has to do with maturity of the fruit. Then we're going to go, are we going back? Yeah. The way they manage the growth, it affects the products as being premium, mediocre, and the size. So if you're inherited 1,000 tree from your family grandfather, that's what you have. That's what is your bread and butter. You try to pay attention and get as much money you want for that, because chef, executive chef, high-end restaurant, in hospitality, they understand that. They go through farms, they collect things, because it's a huge competition, as you know. You always have to accent the flavor, create a new dishes, because these bugs and parasite inside of this bugging and us every day, we have to have something different than for lunch or something for dinner, and you know the rest of the story. So this is a medium density. Imagine the size one of these farm is yours. How are you going to manage it? So this is the high density, super high density production. We're going to get to that one too. And I think we are good to go to the second. So that's the old fashioned pressing. Let's see. Okay. So the question and the link for consumer, for manufacturing, or for the farmer is always get the best possible, because there are things that we can control as a farmer. Harvest it, employ too many, worker, get them to the farm, because when it gets to that right temperature and ripeness, you have 48 hours to get it done, because it goes overripe very fast. So in the midnight, the farmer goes and they have this electronic, you can, send a, I don't know, laser or something, figure it out the temperature, and they would order and direct whoever to start picking up. So when they start picking up, again, some area, where are we going here? Some area you pick them up very fast and quick. Some area The exposed, that's what you see here. Those are the one either it get late, it was back of your farm or whatever, but they're still good to go if you manage to crush them very quick. The other issue that affect the end product from virgin to extra virgin and such is the fact that majority of the farmer, they don't have access to the mill. They have something nearby. They have to travel, and the harvest time, you see a stack of the basket standing over there waiting to be crushed. So it's a very busy time when you go over there. And imagine every cultivar had its own things. They have to open the equipment, clean it, and get it ready. So that time, 48 hours, is the maximum because it would go bad. This is the machine invented. They call it malaxation. You see kind of a blade going through. This is after washing and crushing using hammer crusher. They send the paste. It's like when you grind meat. They send the paste here, and it would stay there, warm up the paste for about 20 to 30 minutes maximum to allow the separation of the solid vegetable water and things, and accelerate separation of the oil in this stage. This is the malaxation that enter the kind of a nitrogen to reduce the amount of oxygen in there, so prevent the oxidation. Is a very sensitive area because you lose all those organoleptic characteristic of that specific wood if you add more warm water or let it sit over there exposed to oxygen and heat, which is the enemy for olive. Then you got to have something that is, I would say, mediocre average. Let's see. And then after you crushed and milled and use the malaxation, you have a centrifugal pump, which is very popular. 80% of all the miller use this to separate the solid wax, everything that you have, and separate it to from oil and vegetable water. And then where are we going again? We don't have. Okay, this is a two-stage. There is a third stage. I don't see it down here. But we're going to cap, and what we share, you see harvest time can be hand-picked, hand stick or tool or shaker as they go down. Then second stage would be the grinding. Third stage would be the oil extraction. Then filtration. And you allow the byproducts sit down and relax for 40 days or so. Use the kind of a stainless steel tank and use the gravity. So any residue that you fail to capture in a process, this whole presentation is available to you. Probably you can get it online. I don't want to confuse you. Let's see where we're going here. Oh, this is the sensor. Now let's just go back to extra virgin. Okay, you see, if you have an orange in this condition and squeeze it, what you get? Something is not fit for human consumption. It's gone bad already, and this effect of oxidation and things. So you want something always sound, it smell good. Like many other fruit, people think, some people are my client, they don't think that olive is a fruit. And when you give them a free sample, they stay over, oh, it's a fat, I don't want to taste it. But exactly like carrot juice. And if you press it and extract it, the same you extract your orange juice, which is difficult, technically speaking, it should be a premium olive oil. By the way, we share All the elements that you see in the universe, galaxy, and far beyond, we share the exact element and gene that you see, and by 70% are gene matched with olive. Uh, some of the diseases they get, it's like type of a cancer, is online, you can read it, is matched the similar cancer that we get, the fruit. Because every season, tree behave different. Some season you have a high production, high yield, it tolerate, sometimes not because of lack of moisture and things. Those are very technical. Just give you a brief idea. And this is what you have here. These are extremely overripe, either depicted about on the floor and I brought it here. These are normally, let's just go back here one more time. Where is that green? Okay. When you have this condition and you do the crush in a green, so technically your acidity and what you are probably heard a lot, or they disclose it on the label, it's a free fatty acid. Free fatty acid, or these are extent of the triglyceride chain in any lipid or edible oil, that that level need to be controlled. So if I allow the fruit overripe, because I'm kind of a, I don't care about quality, the free fatty acid level increase. That means, in general, you sacrifice all those organoleptic taste complexity of the oil because it's overripe, the acidity is high, and as a result, the shelf life, a smoke point, cooking application would be affected by that practice. So if you crush it in this condition that is greens, moving to purplish kind of a condition, and you follow the 4 hours, because there are farmers now, they understand the importance of having a meal inside. We call it estate grown, means you have a farm and you have a meal on your own. Of course, you help your neighbor and farmer too, but you crush it within 4 to 6, 8 hours. That is a result of something with a beautiful bouquet, with a lot of complexity and low free fatty acid. That's how the USDA and FDA grade the olive oil. So we call that extra virgin. Extra virgin means right after crush, you can drink that. It doesn't need to go through any type of a processing, extra press, using any other method. It's ready to go. And as you can see, farmers celebrate harvest by releasing a little bit of new harvest, oleo nuevo and something, and you see it's cloudy, and those are wax, part of the skin of the olive. So those need to be consumed. They release it to celebrate the harvest time, and we get into the harvest time, October to December to mid-January, depends where you are in the northern hemisphere. They start picking up the fruit, sending it to the mill, crushing and producing, and get the olive ready to come to the market. So that's I think we have should be something here from extra virgin. We lost it. So you can see it on the chart. Did it already? Degrading. Through. Now you have, go past here. You have second grade of the olive that normally, if you use the mix of those varieties that you have overripe and ripe, it gives you over 2% acidity that, oh, we're going back again. Oh, okay, here. So as you can see, free fatty acid has to be below 1. Achieving that number means you have to harvest the fruit as early as possible, crush it within 4 to maximum 24 hours to get that number. So that byproduct would qualify to carry the extra virgin label. But the second grade is virgin olive oil, which is also can be consumed immediately. And maximum allowance for the free fatty acid, it's no more than 2%. Then you have solid from the first press. You can go and press it extra, with force to extract more oil. That would call lampante olive oil, which it doesn't fit for human consumption, has to go through refinery that refine crude petroleum, the same practice. So you get the refined oil that has free fatty acid, over 3%. These are type of oil that when they refine, deodorize, they use chemical hexane family for cleaning and filtration. It's good to go to, I would say, candle industry or maybe lotion industry, because you have a fat, no value in it. It's just a flat fat. Mono and polyunsaturated fat there. You get the calorie from there, but all the other goodies, like high level of those bioactive, they call it HDL, high good cholesterol, polyphenol, which is the natural defense, is a group, probably 6 to 10 different phenolic compounds. These are bioactive, that if you manage to capture them in a milling process, it's give you that complacency and wow kind of a thing in your activate your sensories, irritate your throat, pungency, bitterness, come from oleocanthal, one of those bioactive phenolic compound. And for your reference, I don't want to make it too complicated for you. Any species has the same similar immune system that we have. They are on alert to protect us, or anything that is come through our breathing things. And olive and any species, you call it blueberry, any purple things, you see this bioactive and phenolic compound, it's higher. That's a part of the natural defense of any species, whether it's a green, whether it's a chard, whether it's a things. But this species has a kind of a scallion, green onion, have 8 days. That related to those bioactive nitrogen content that you get from the earth, it affects the shelf life. We're talking about the shelf life here. So basically, this refined oil shouldn't be mixed, but there's a huge consumption because consumers, especially in the United States and in the market, I have a lot of clients, they use pure olive oil or light olive oil for the cooking, without knowing or understanding the light, this, or zero of that, zero extra virgin in it. This oil went through treatment. Why? We talked about variety. We're going to go back to variety. Arbequina, which is a popular variety, Picual is a popular variety, and they give you good yield because the ratio between the stone and the flesh, it's a very good ratio. You get a good yield. So average, just for your reference, you need 15 to 20 pounds of the fruit to create 1 liter extra virgin olive oil, all in that category. So considering the labor, time, and expensive harvesting, processing, and milling, where are you going to go? So some blend. If you do blend virgin with extra virgin, which is fine, as long as it's not refined oil mixed. So these two are fit for human consumption. It improves your health because of those properties. We're going to get to that. I will touch on the health benefit of that, and drastically improve the flavor of your dishes. So it's a food, it's nutritionist, it's improve our health, and it's flavor enhancer, I would say. But you need to understand it when, how, and what type of a variety you use for that application. Now, you see difficult, because I'm here representing Italian producer, I have to defend them. In a sense that majority of this variety, and I have to promote them actually because I import a lot of them from Italy, are indigenous to Italy. They are extremely complex and they're phenomenon. You cannot compare them with other varieties based on the fact that they expose to the unique environment of northern Italy, southern Italy, central to the south. As a result, the complexity of those bioactive and health benefit, and I will call it flavor enhancer in a culinary application, they deserve more because some of this variety, the ratio between flesh and stone is so minimal. You have to go like about 30 to 35 pounds. You're going to taste one of those today that you consider, calculate, it is, you have to pay more for that. So as long as you understand, learn the foundation and how to taste them, it shouldn't be that difficult to pick up the one that you want for baking or you want for finishing and such. I will be available if you have any technical question at this because we're gonna go to tasting. Yes. Now, how are we gonna taste this and understand? Okay, I'm done here, I think. Oh, it's moving. So we have a very sophisticated sensory on our palate. Some part sweet, some part sour. Okay, this. And when we consume chili, activate the APT receptor, and we start getting that signal to our brain, fire coming, you know, and we consume more. We're going backwards. Sorry, this has some issue here. I'm gonna go to tasting if we can. Okay. This grading and how to thing is most of them are available online. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to use the mouse?
Oh, there's a mouse here.
Yeah, just before.
We pass this to, we get into tasting. Okay. So in order to understand how this product at the end of the season is produced, there are two ways of understanding and evaluating the complexity and the value of that product. One of it is the sensory or organoleptic by smelling, tasting, adding oxygen, and then let the real character of that species release and introduce that to yourself. So in the case of olive, use our nose and the tongue. So if you allow me, I'm going to start with the tasting. Okay. I'm going to grab this. In order to taste the oil like a professional, first of all, you have apple and a little bit water, I think. From the first, you start, then you go to second, bite a little bit apple or sparkling water to clean the palate and get ready for the second one. Normally, judge or whoever judging, panel judge, whatever, they use kind of a cobalt blue glass to taste because they don't want the color of the fruit that's ready for judging affect the judgment. But in our case, it's normally I'm going to do just a starting point. You hold the cup in your hand, your palm, and you cover it on the top and slowly move it. The reason is we want to allow the body temperature warm the oil and activate those flavor and things. And the second stage would be we are gifted with the sense of what we call it disgust. If you get something fishy, rancid, we immediately pick it up because our body tries to protect us, any foul smell, any rotten, any fermented things. So after you warm it enough, like just swirl for a couple of seconds, we're gonna inhale and sniff through a couple of times. Did you close your eyes? This, your perception of an understanding of what you experiencing, it would signal to your brain, and you get something like a very floral, I would say, very tropical, I would say, green tomato, walnut husk, things in this caliber, natural. If that oil is premium, it will give you that sensation. Also, as I mentioned through the process, might be a negative attribute to that. Warming this and sniff it, try to do this, warm it a little bit. First one that you have on the right, that's correct. And sniff through. Couple of two, three. You shouldn't smell anything unusual. The second stage is we don't want to swallow the oil. We're going to spread oil in front. Why? Because our sensory in the front capture the texture, sweetness of the oil and whatever you put in your mouth, and you allow your saliva mix with that. So that's the first experience. Then you start adding a little bit of oxygen. I'm going to do it for you. I already smell it. I have something here, and I'm going to go down here. I'm going to spread it around my mouth inside two. So I'm on a third stage. I'm chewing it. I'm getting the texture. And then you breathe. Yeah, it's not cocaine, it's a natural product. By the way, oleocanthal, it's the most powerful painkiller. 10 times better than ibuprofen. If you are sad, down, you fell somewhere and you need a whatever, take a shot of olive oil, good olive oil, okay? So you add oxygen, then you would see. So I want you to see what you're doing right now. It's so good for your skin. It is so good for your heart. It is so good for understanding because you want to incorporate this to your dishes. So you should understand.
When do we eat the apple?
After, when you want to taste the second oil, you need to clean your palate. Now, breathe and breathe deep through your nose and your tongue. What you getting there? I need 2 or 3 people share their personal experience. What should you get down here? Can you explain it? Sir? Anybody?
What do you get? Come on.
You should get a little bit of spiciness, peppery finish. If oil harvested at the right time, guys, and you manage to capture all those bioactive potency of high density lipoprotein, potency of vitamin E and A, which is beneficial to our arteries and heart, potency of high level of oleocanthal, phenolic compound, and many others, potency of those should irritate your throat, actually make you cough. When we do like 3,000-4,000 sample and harvest time to evaluate, we go to the really coughing, and that's why we have a sparkling water to clean and get ready for another one. So if you are ready, the first one was, I would say, medium, creamy. Did you text?
Yes.
Yes. Creamy texture, and if it is well crafted, it should as it goes down. Look, we have a capsaicin, right? It's a chemical compound in all chilies, but there are different levels. When you bite the chili and you expose it to oxygen, you activate those chemical compounds we enjoy of getting that fiery sensation. In the case of olive, olive should give you a positive, nice, kind of a peppery sensation, tickling in your throat. We're going to go for the second one. That first one, I would say I'm going to add a little bit more. You can be agree, disagree, because we have different sensory. It was a little bit nutty. Am I right? It was a little bit kind of an almond side. Walnut, it's like a kind of a, sometimes it's come from the very good crafted. Sometimes when you have the paste, you saw the paste in the malaxation is a very coarse. It leaves that kind of an almond nutty overtone. So if I use this in a culinary, what I'm going to use it for? Places that I don't need. If I make sauces, I don't need to accent the flavor. Or if I want to, saute fish or something in it, or a steamed vegetable, I use this that doesn't overpower other ingredients. I want to see some noise here when you do like you wine. Come on. Otherwise, you're not going to die. Don't worry. I'm here for you. Do it a couple of times because your first is totally about texture and front of the oil. When you do that, you see the character of the species explode, right? It has a kind of a activate all your senses. You can see. So as a professional, when you do that in a tasting, if there is a negative attribute, things by adding oxygen, that's a right noise. More. Close your eyes and breathe through your nose. Okay? Now, every perception, and it's related to your personal sensory. I would say it's personal, but in general, the second one is somebody tell me what was the experience of the second one? Very beautiful bouquet, like a tropical bouquet, creamy but fruity. When you have the fruity kind of a thing,
They're so excited.
they're very fruity. So if I have a little bit chicken breast or I grill a fish and I put a little bit dry herbs, I put a flake sea salt, I want to accent the flavor with that tropical fruit. I have a fantastic baker here. If I want to chill some strawberries, blueberry, and I put the fresh cream on the top and chop some mint and pistachio to have simple dessert, I finish it with this type of olive oil. But you can read about it and experience like wine and pairing with cheese and such. You would be getting there. United States market, our consumers are sick and tired to go to grocery store and they see, 200 variety that you don't know. But at least you learn about pure olive oil and light olive oil. When you want to cook, the real extra virgin olive oil has 400 degree smoke point. You can even deep fry if you have the right one. The second one you taste, you can use it for deep frying or baking. It adds a beautiful rise to your dough and moist, especially when you do almond or orange cake. Fantastic. Say it again. Africa, yeah. Anything. Now we're going to go for the third one. I don't know how much time we have. We're almost there. Okay. The third one is yeah. Excellent.
So I think, they can ask you questions.
Yes. So I want you to cover it. Don't shortcut, okay? Because you want to activate those bioactive in the olive that you taste. That's another exceptional, and this is heritage variety. They call it, should I call it or no? Should I mention the, it's a Hoji Blanca. Hoji Blanca is the only tree of olive that they give you leaf, their leaves are white. That's why they call it Hoja Blanca. It's a Spanish. The very creamy body has a beautiful artichoke. Go the same as roll it around your front, and please, please don't get scared. Just add oxygen because you want to see. You can see me. You can understand when I'm expressing myself, what type of a character I have. On the oil, if you want to learn the personality of that cultivar and make sure there is no defect in it. The third one is getting louder. I like it.
It's very greeny. It's very vegetal.
See, herbaceous. Herbaceous. You want to get to green tomato. Green tomato. Green tomato. Artichoke. Green apple. It's come true. But has a beautiful body too. It's spread very well. Now, if I want to use this, since you're going to be all Michelin star chef, how do you want to use it? When I cook lentil, beans, things, soup, green kind of a things, I use that to accent the flavor.
Like risotto?
Yes, but I have something for your risotto as the last one is for your risotto. But definitely, if you have a risotto with shrimp and seafood, definitely that works very well. You blanch some asparagus, you cook that in a chicken broth or vegetable broth, and when you put it on the plate and you're about to serve it hot, you go around it. So when they spoon your delicious risotto, the starch of the rice risotto goes and complement each other. So you don't need to add salt or pepper and things. As long as you have the cheeses there, and it's going to work very well. Any question for this poor guy here? No. Well, my last name is Poor. People will say, "Oh, I'm the poorest guy in town." In Persian, Poor means second or junior. Have you heard about Christian Amanpour,
Yeah.
the famous journalist? So the poor sometimes come from the region that you came, or the second or junior. If I'm a son of Michel, I'm going to be Michel Poor. That indicate. Yes.
This would be good with jangala. Jangala.
Oh, ginger. It's
Don't afraid to ask any question if it doesn't even make sense. If it's as long as it's fun, just ask, because this is a process. I was a little kid. I was directed by mom at that stage of life. I start hating my mom. Sorry, I'm in love. But back in the days, it wasn't like you walk to grocery store and grab something. We have to go half a mile from the specific vendor to create something for that, for these people, right? And many culture back in the days, and still, they travel to get the premium ingredients, because you're in culinary school. Ingredients, the most important part. If I get value and get excited on your table, I don't look at the bills, because the value that you deliver exceed my expectation. That's anybody, any human being at any transaction in commerce. When the value exceeds what you pay for it, you feel great, you're happy. But guess what? If I go to a restaurant that advertise this and that, sometimes I feel that I'm overcharged, right? So ingredients is very important. And I have to go half a mile to get tomato and go from other vendor get that. And I would say, hey, I'm a son of Michel. They told me get this, then they put it in a bag. I would walk back again. I was very young. And my mother looked at the bag and opened it. sorry, this tomato, these mushrooms, some of them are not good. Go back to the guy. That was the hate it started generating. I said, "Hey, can you look at me, my profile? I'm starving. I didn't have breakfast. And I have to go back over there." But by doing so, basically, they're teaching me in a very rough manner, I would say. But I learned when you buy things and you pay the same amount, equal amount of the money, you expect something sound, unadulterated, and think this has to be applied to the oil that you buy too. So when you go that oil, when you use bleach and you clean your clothing in a dryer or washing, in a case of refining the rancid oil, the damaged fruit that the oxidation is to the roof, they have to use hexane. It's a family of the bleach, right? And they have to add deodorizer and remove all the impurity and bad smell of that rancid oil, because rancidity it's caused by oxidation of the lipid or triglyceride in that type of products, right? If you have a omega-3, for example, they tell you go get the fish oil. Your grandmother probably go. If you poke that with a, you smell it. If it is fat is oxidized, you can pick it up immediately. I didn't get to the health benefit of these kind of things, but I want to go. We have time, another 20 minutes. When your mother and your father meet each other and start dancing, the egg and the sperm, it was nothing that we can recognize. It was like something, maybe little like this, that. The first thing group, we call it the stem cells. They gather and be meeting, what are we going to do with this new whatever? So they said the first organ that we need to do is our blood vessel. 65,000 miles of that. Then, based on the direction of the DNA of your father and your mother, and the structured genes start creating a group. They go for your eyeballs, your skin tone, and your bones and things. Those are late time. So blood, it's the most important, the blood vessel is the most important highway that carry oxygen, nutrition, nutrients, and the good fat or good carb, because amino acid is the building block. That reaction has to be uninterrupted. Now, guess what? When you have a high quality olive oil, because of the phenolic compound, it would make sure there is no red line like 405 freeway. You get stuck and you go, oh my God. Or it slow down. Because on your muscle and knees, it can be replaced, but when the nerve's gone, when your heart and brain especially doesn't get adequate amount of oxygen, it would paralyze you, right? So you want to have olive oil. We're going to a little bit just to touch on health benefits. So when you have a polyphenol, why should I pay $30 for a high quality olive oil? Because it's a polyphenol in it? Yes. If it goes down, it coat this highway, so LDL or bad cholesterol that deposit and oxidize, it shouldn't be in the wrong places. What's going to happen? It doesn't oxidize. It goes away. Plus, it has those antioxidant kind of a impact. It communicates with couple of specific parasites in a microbiome. Those are the ones get excited and they go after a specific, what we call it, scavenging cells, because we duplicate and the process of manufacturing new cells and duplication, there are probably 5 to 10,000 errors. Where this garbage supposed to go? It was to be somebody in a city come and collect your garbage. So in our system in general, let's just make it a little bit simpler. When you have garlic and onion that have chemical compound, we call it flavonoid. It go fight infection in your system, or go communicate with those stem cells, or in our security, when there's surveillance, They go, so, oh, there is an infection somewhere. Why your doctor would tell you, get garlic. But in general, when you have access to virgin olive oil, that has a minimal defect, for example, is still act like a vessel. You have green, best salad, chard, kale, everything in there. Fruit salad, anything. If you add vinegar, you cook the vegetable and probably stay in your stomach trying to find out where I'm gonna. But when you have a good olive oil, 2-3 part to your lemon juice or vinegar, guess what? It carries those mineral nutrients that you get from other food to your healthy cells. And as we age, it helps our internal start dilating again. It's improve your production of the bone marrow, it produce bones, skin sometimes, but there are other variety of fruit you have to consume on a normal basis to get that. But even on a fruit or apple, something simple that you cut it and you peel it out for your partner in life or guest, just add a little bit of olive oil, good olive oil. And make sure when you have a good olive oil, put it in a dark, cool places because light, heat, and air is the enemy to olive. It's oxidized very quick and fast. Now we're going to go for the last one. I'm going to tell you what is the last one. Should I cheat or no? Oh, you want to? Go ahead. Do it. This I want to be really loud because they're recording you. There are 10 billion people on the earth is watching you. I don't know if you have 10 billion people, but some of them, they're watching you. This is a finishing oil. Another example, exceptional oil from Sicily. Name of the species is Cerosuela. It's probably 2,000 to 10,000 liter maximum production in Sicily. Nothing come out. Chef, best hotel, they book them. They book this type of a producer. Now do that and put it in the front and take it. It should give you extremely pungent, green, grassy, that type of a thing. Even late night when you are walking in a strange neighborhood, if you make that sound, nobody approach you. They probably say, "Oh, this guy is," yeah. Just to make that thing's gonna go away. This is astringent, right? This is a raw, pungent. So, and something going on in your head right now. Some of them get warm in the head. Some of them, yeah. So that's how you taste. But we have a showroom in Newport. I don't know if I can. My boss allowed me to promote. But we have a showroom for last 18 years or so. Chef coming through from New York, from all international. They get education, and this monitor that you see, we have about 200 single variety, not blended. But you can see the name of the producer, region, and the chemical analysis, majority are from Italy, is right there, and we sample it for you before you buy. So you can come and say, Matthew, can I sample this from central Italy in Tuscany? I would say, why not? Sample it. We have that much confidence. Why? Because I go to each farm, I hand select them, I pay top dollar, I guarantee percentage of their output, and I believe in their practice because all around the world, including Italy, they have a lot of respect for well-crafted oil, coffee, you name it. And that is come from the lifestyle. Grandma cooking, send you go to the market, farmers market, buy this, grab this, and they've been exposed, European, Mediterranean, I would say, to variety of flavors, herbs, spices. So you cannot mess around with the palate because If you give him something phony, mixed, they would recognize. They always stand out. So, but as a producer, if you are a farmer, who would be your consumer? If you have somebody overseas and they grind you on a price and price, if you are a Costco, that you go get the gallon. Oh, I did also Costco. Anyway, I want you to understand that large grocery store, they have a purchasing department. The volume that buy from you, nothing against anybody because it's a free market. Sorry, Costco. Uh, there has to be, based on the simple math, 15 pound, 1 liter, 20 pound, 1 liter, a gallon and a half that labeled $18 or $20 or $25 may carry Italian, may carry Greek label on that. But technically, you have to ask yourself, is it possible? Unless I use that refined oil. And why? Because as a buyer, I'm coming to you and I would say, Michelle, I want you to produce this oil at this price. You would say, it's impossible, sir. Take your business somewhere else. I said, no, what I love what you do. I said, okay, you have to pay. So I have to pay. My corporate structure, if I'm representing a big grocery store or whatever, I have 100 stores, I have to preserve that overhead. So if I come to Sylvia in Sicily and I said, Sylvia, I'm representing 100, 200, she doesn't have enough production to give it to me first. She is not, or some of them, they want to make a statement. This is the heritage. They're not going to dilute it and whatever because I have to get profit on that. So this large company had to go from production, mass producer. They have, let me see if I can go back here. We went through the high density production. The traditional way of farming is 100 to 103 per acre, 10 by 10 space. You want to allow the tree fight for all the nutrients from the land. Are we going the other way? But now the modern version of production is medium density to super high density. Please, 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 please. Okay, if you've been in Europe or you can get it online, you see the trees that are about 300, 200, some of them in Puglia, in Italy, central Italy, is 1,000 years old. They have a trunk like this, big. And as they, like us, become mature, become very, we tolerate things, become nicer to each other and things. They give you oil with the harmony. Those are the ones that you can expect because olive spread its root this way to suck up anything that he can get. So you got to give him 10 by 10 space. These are traditional growth. That's what we represent United States. We go over there and get them. As you can see here, in order to produce, and like I said, you need 100 to 150 trees per acre. What you see here is about 900 to 1,100 per acre. There is no space. And the variety that they use, look at them, is like a corn. We call it hedgerow production. Hedgerow production is you use a specific type of a variety of olive oil. In the lab, sometimes they manipulate the gene so they can grow maximum 6 foot. The harvester, automated harvester goes over there, and they harvest it, and they go to the mill and they crush them. This managing this type of a production, 100 million or 100,000 metric tons, it is, you cannot compare that products with what you buy in a traditional growth. So that's the option to go. Let's see if there is an image here. It was a tree. I hope that you got the idea. Like I said, uh, you need to have 6 to 8 oranges to get a size glass bottle, 6 ounce or 10 ounce, right? And you can squeeze that orange a little bit more, second, to extract more. So that, because you didn't use any heat or chemical for extraction, it was just the force of the nature, you have extra virgin oranges. Now, if I go to mass production of the orange wherever I am, and I want to meet the price point because we are price buyer rather than we market it that way. We look at the volume in our dishes. We look at some of the fancy restaurant in Bologna, for example. You go, you see the proportion is like this much risotto, 5 course, then you go this much of that, and you pay 1,100. But that experience, it's gonna stay with you. You share it with all of your friends. That was because it's a cream of the top of everything that they have over there, and they follow, so you enjoy it. Now you can have go to market. You have 100 different orange juices. Some has 1%, 2% diluted, has a filler in it, and things. I want you to be appreciative if you want to use this in a culinary, and sooner or later they're gonna upgrade the labeling. So there's a huge confusion. There are, you have light olive oil, pure olive oil. Your grandmother or some of my clients go, oh, I go buy from TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx, yeah. I said, good luck with that. And even the premium one that you taste, consider olive like banana, like avocado, is a perishable. Very well crafted olive oil. Hold it in an optimum level of storage and things, and even not plastic, stainless steel, it goes down. It has to go down. It's oxidation. But those bioactive help this process slower. So you can have it. Sometimes I have very well crafted from the last season because it's produced in a professional manner and a lot of attention. Sometimes it's much better than the new harvest that you get because of the poor processing. You know what I'm saying? So these are the area that we covered. We didn't have time to go to, and like I mentioned, the oil that has like the last one or the first three, these are tolerate heat. You can use it for baking because when the lipid, the part of a triglyceride chain of those fatty acids break down, it produces alcohol. It produces variety of the weird chemical. That's a natural occurrence that make that oil unfit for human consumption. It will ruin your food. And probably I should have bring some maybe rancid oil so you can be exposed to see what we are talking about. But the premium oil at the end of the season, it should go down. You get tired, you lose the color, and all those special kind of positive things. It would go down, then it start breaking down, it goes down. So in order to evaluate, we do sensory, then we send that sample to the lab. Sample to the lab use, the reason for that is if I buy something from him, I want to make sure when the sample gets to me, it match before I cut the check. So I have to send to the third party. They use variety of equipments, very sophisticated, different way of ultraviolet tools, laser, and to make sure nothing is blend, no seeds and nuts oil. For your reference, some of them has the similar chain of fatty acid. If they blend it to reduce the price, consumer, they don't know. But you're at the beginning, I wasn't a chef. I was following the order, buying this, and within 10, 20 minutes, you see this beautiful, delicious a smell permeate to the things. And I would, say, okay, I don't hate you. At least I get something in return. And you get there. You started, trust me, by practicing and by failing and by ruining it. I'm not a baker. I try it. Every time I touch it, I have to, even my dog doesn't like it. Because I don't pay attention to proportion. I don't pay attention. I'm a very good cook right now. I can feed myself, and that's the most important part, to get these guys happy. You see your friend is down or somebody is angry, is overreacting, and things. It all has to do, nothing with financial. It has to do how you handle the problem. And if this group of parasite and microbe inside of are happy and the ecosystem, it has that harmony, is in balance. You don't have a skin issue, you don't have a bad sleep, you're always happy, you're in a good mood all the time, and you look at the universe totally different. Because we are, whatever we have in our microchondria, that engine that we have, need the fuel. Polyphenol, oleic acid, and things, our command center has neurotransmitter that are not connected. The way you look at me, experiencing the sound, the smell, and everything, it's a result of a highway of data, and data goes in a nanosecond, billion of them. When you interpret the color and the smell, this highway to not be interrupted when they exchange electromagnetic pulses, they need premium mono and polyunsaturated fat. And why, this is the last piece, why we say olive oil, it's the best and the only edible oil that fit for human consumption? Because the ratio between mono and polyunsaturated fat is such a structure and design, you cannot replicate it, you cannot get it from others. That's what our nerves, our neurons, production of, cell production, skin, food, anything you want, it's related to our command center because it's the one that they regulate this ecosystem. You put rancid, rotten food, leftover that has a mold in it and things, because you're hungry, you don't want to walk through across the street, buy and cook something for yourself. Guess what? You get a negative energy input, negative energy, you're going to broadcast that output. You go to Italy, European, they have a variety of the food. They have a couple of families sitting. After that, they have a big gelato, and they're walking and exchanging. They learn. That's another part. So have a good olive oil, very good, trustworthy friend that can cover your bill. Invite them to the restaurant and enjoy the life, because there is no guarantee I'll be here next week, tomorrow, or this afternoon. I might be in Italy, I might be in France. But when my list, we have a lifespan, like phenolic compound, we have a chemical system structure to give us tolerate stress and things. Our job to take care of this sophisticated machine that now we label them with Michel, Matthew, Frank, James, whatever. This need to be taken care of, like the engine of your car. If under the dashboard you have to put unleaded, please put unleaded. Don't get crazy, go to high octane because you think it's better, because too much of a good thing is also not good. Example, oxygen. I'm supposed to talk about olive oil, I'm sorry. But I'm going to relate them together. Oxygen intake, metabolism, the food, protein, and starches that we need, 30, 40 grams of that need to be combined with mono and polyunsaturated fat to observe better. But I shouldn't overdose it, the minimum. Look, your dietitian or doctor said there are things because we don't produce them. They are the Homo sapien, we have to outsource. Your doctor would tell you omega-3 from serving of sockeye salmon or a can of sardine at least once or twice a week. Why? Because you get the chainy fatty acid, we call it omega-3. Look, there is you go to Los Angeles, is a concert, and there are 200 people playing things, different instruments. If somebody start, going rogue, you're not gonna enjoy that music. That's why you have to take care of this machine. So omega-9, especially for the guy, handful of pistachio and almond. Why? Because omega-9 come from almond and nuts oil. That's why we enjoy it. Anything has a fat, a little texture of fat on your palate, we enjoy it. Even the cream, the texture of the cream, because it can spread easily. So having a breakfast with a nice sourdough bread, chop some tomatoes, fresh organic tomato, oregano on the top, a little bit flaked sea salt, and finish it with the last or the third olive oil. You have the most delicious breakfast, give you energy, and all over Spain, the backup, that's what they do. You can add, cook, eggs and avocado, and finish it with a little bit sea salt to get your protein. You want to have muffin, you want to have, the baker sitting and looking at me, say something about baking. So muffin, that's fine too. If the eggs they use, if the oil they use, because you have baker, mass production, you have a baker, they want to make a statement. You should have that at a certain time, not every day. Now, the last part is omega-6. The most important food for our brain comes from only premium olive oil. We cannot produce it. You cannot go knock that office or knock that store. Can I buy half a pound of omega-6? It's impossible. You have to have a mono and polyunsaturated fat with high level of dose, quality, to let this body function. This engine that play music, some of them, half of 90%, we don't know anything about it. It just, without our conscious, it's happening to preserve and prolong our existence here. That's all I had to share. A lot of information online. You can visit our website, go to every region, see this specialty indigenous variety. More than welcome to visit us in Orange County. We have a lot of customers actually from Pasadena, chef and things, and expose yourself. The more you get exposed to this flavor and understanding this fruit from different regions, then you learn how to use them.